Hello, everybody listening to the Fair Weather Podcast. Also, like I like to say now, thank you for choosing the Fair Weather Podcast. You're joined by boy 2K Suave. I'm here with my dog, Alex Rodriguez. The last time I saw him in person, it was a lot of excitement. And then Monday night happened. So I would like to pass the floor to Mr. Alex Rodriguez. And I would like you to kind of just talk to me, man. How are you feeling, man? How you doing?
We don't want to talk about the wackiest, craziest
We're
stories.
going to get there, but I just need to know how you're feeling, just in general.
We'll get a temp check on me after that. I let's do the wacky, crazy story thing, and I'll give you a temp check. Well, mine kind of ties into that. It was a crazy first week.
Well, what's the wackiest, craziest thing you've seen all week?
I mean, I can hit home on this. I can say the Jets game one. I mean, Aaron Rodgers goes out. You're gonna play therapist for me in a little bit, and I'll get it all off my chest how I'm feeling. But watching Aaron Rodgers go out, that's insane. And then to come back and win it on a kick return from an unsigned rookie who made training camp. And
you fell in love with Hard Knocks. You fell in love with this character in Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I mean, I knew about the kid coming out. I didn't know about the other guy that we signed. And I didn't know on. Yeah, I knew Xavier Gipson, and I knew he was like would be a good special team guy, down at the end receiver, and probably our starting kick returner since we don't really have one. And when his name was called, he shined, and it got done. I mean, I can also sit here and say, the Cowboys put a whooping on them boys. Or the Giants, whatever you want to call them, the G-men, like 40-0. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing to see. And then the funniest one for me that I can say is all the shit talking that the Bengals players were doing, calling the new logo for the Browns, the little elf, Keebler, blase, 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 like you like to say, just to get slapped up by the Browns. And Joe Burrow, who got the bag, didn't perform like somebody who has the bag. So yeah, it was a crazy week one of football. Very enjoyable though. The script is definitely in full effect. That's for sure.
Full effect. All right. So obviously we're going to get to a lot of these football topics, but let me give you a quick, my quick craziest or wackiest or funniest or whatever things of the week. I actually have a few. So first and foremost, huge shout out to Miss Coco Gauff. The youngest since Serena to win a major, a Grand Slam in tennis. She won in 3 sets, and she dominated that last set. It was beautiful to watch, to see that young girl get that ring and that championship and all that. So the sport is in good hands right now from the women's side, especially with some of our American players. Taylor Swift is reportedly hanging out with Travis Kelce, but that's not even the craziest thing. I saw on the news today that Taylor Swift, USA Today hired somebody to follow Taylor Swift 24/7, and they're paying that person $50 an hour to cover nothing but Taylor Swift. This girl is a first ballot Hall of Famer now. Like, she's officially crossing an echelon that's unreachable. We're not going to start talking GOAT status the way she's trending right now. She's single-handedly helping the economy in the United States of America, and then she's coming back again next year to go do it again. She's like on another level of greatness right now. So I got to give her flowers today. My fantasy teams this weekend, I went 0-3 in my fantasy leagues. I went 0-2 in DraftKings, and I lost my parlay on Sunday. So that was the wackiest shit I've seen all week. I mean, I could not catch a break when it came to fantasy football. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I lost J.K. Dobbins. T. Higgins gave me 0. I mean, I can go on. I lost to this dude at work who scored 40 points for the Cowboys defense. 40. Like, I scored the second most points in the league, and I was beating him by 30 points. Boy scored 40. You got to be kidding me. Like, I'm like, it's not meant to be.
I'm 1-1, and the only reason I'm 1-1 is because Dallas Goedert gave me a goose egg. If he would have gave me 5, I'd have been straight. Like, Dallas Goedert's a target, is he not? Like, why was he utilized?
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on this weekend for me with fantasy football. Now, the last wackiest, craziest thing I saw this week will lead us into our first segment, which I'm going to give you a little bit of therapy. We're talking about the New York Jets. So, did you know on September 12th, I want to say it was 1999, this same exact thing happened? Vinny Testaverde came out with all the hoopla, and they have Bill Parcells, they have Vinny Testaverde, and it's like Super Bowl or bust. You know, the New York Jets fans are finally happy again. Fireman Ed is happy again. It was supposed to be beautiful, and then he tears his Achilles as well on September 12th, 2000, and it was like 99 or something like that. And then just for it to happen exactly almost to the day, to that bad man Aaron Rodgers, crazy shit. He played 75 seconds and only 4 snaps. And that was the end of 2023 Aaron Rodgers with the New York Jets. So I would like to trade. Obviously, it was a crazy weekend of football, you know, which ended with the craziest night of football. I mean, it can imagine. I mean, it's September 11th. I mean, just to set the stage, right? It's September 11th. We got a team in Buffalo, crazy fans, against a team in New York, you know, passionate fans. So we have 2 passionate fan bases in the state and the city, you know, New York City, whatever. Mind you, they're playing in New Jersey, but we know it's a New York versus kind of a New York type of thing, even though Buffalo is not really New York, in my opinion, but you get it. He runs out with the flag. I have not seen the fans this excited in my life. I've never seen them. I mean, I've seen them beat Tom Brady a couple of times. I've seen them get to AFC Championship games. I've seen a lot of cool moments with the Jets. I had never seen no energy like that. Monday Night Football, you know, opening week. So the stage was set for an epic night. And then those 4, it was like under duress. I'm like, yo, this offensive line gonna get him killed. Little did I know that his blind side, you know, speaking of Michael Orr a couple of weeks ago, his blind side was not protected. And homeboy was Leonard Floyd, came in unblocked and ended my boy's season. And and this is me coming from a perspective. I'm not even a Jets fan. I'm an Aaron Rodgers, you know, ride or die type of person. You know, he pissed me off a little bit the last couple of years, but if anybody knows me, Aaron Rodgers, part of the reason why I was so anti-Brady is because Peyton Manning was my favorite quarterback growing up, and then Aaron Rodgers got that torch from him. So, I'm a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers, but I think it was just sad to see for the sport, sad to see the Jets fans. You see that dude flick off the camera. It was just, you don't have to be a fan of the Jets to feel bad. Like I was watching the game with my girl, and she was like, I was like, I think she jinxed it, right? She was like, what if he busts this year? I'm like, he's not going to bust this year. 2 plays later. I was like, oh, shit. I looked at her. I'm like, what did you do? Right? So here we are, A-Rod. Floor is yours. I've set the stage. I would like you to talk to me about how that evening went for you. And then I know how these last 48 hours have been for you since the moment happened. Because it's 8. I mean, as we're recording right now, it's literally about 48 hours to the time that the game started. So talk to me.
Yeah. Monday, I was all over the place. I've never gone through a roller coaster of emotions in sports. I don't think ever in my life like that. I think that was probably my heart had to like go out of rhythm at least 10 times during that game. Watching him run on the field was great. You could tell the energy was there, just like you said. You could feel it in MetLife Stadium. They were ready to roll. It was slow out the gates. I mean, it was a very slow 4 snaps out the gates, but to see him go out when he got sacked, you know, I was like, this cannot be happening. And I thought, oh, he's going to the tent. They're going to just make sure it's okay. And the whole time I'm reading beat writers. I'm trying to find sideline guys to follow, guys that I know that are on the field that are close to the Jets, reporters that will make sense, not some jamoke that's going to say whatever the fuck he feels like. And they weren't going to tell you what it was. They were not. They try to fluff it up and say, and I remember them saying it on telecast too. Oh, it's an ankle sprain. Then it started going into the second quarter, and it was a high ankle sprain. Then they ruled him out, and then people started to get the video and slow it down, and you could see the tendon snap. Then they said, oh, it's an Achilles issue. It's a ruptured Achilles. He'll only miss 8 games with this injury. Then it was a full-blown torn ACL. So the whole time I'm trying to watch the game, but I'm doing more homework to see what is going on with Aaron Rodgers because I care about that more. This is what I put my season on and what the Jets put their season on. And when I saw Zach Wilson step up and put his helmet on, my man, I think I said it last year when Pless was on the show. I guarantee you, Week 1 season starter is going to be Zach Wilson.
Oh my God. You see, you cursed this shit because you did say this.
I did not.
You did say this.
I know this team too well. I blame this all on my friend Joe. My friend Joe, every year he says like the most outlandish shit, and he's also a bad omen. When the Jets signed Aaron Rodgers and saw my like happiness for that, he said, and he has the receipts, I bet he tears his ACL, or I hope he tears his ACL. And when I saw that, I was like, just don't say shit like that, please. I need to see a winning season from you once. I need this. So the whole game, I'm in panic mode. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in panic mode because Zach Wilson just doesn't do it for me. He's painting the turd purple. We have a great team, and now we're just gonna paint it purple now. It's a turd again to me, is how I'm feeling. But I got to tell you, I watched him make some throws. The only one I did not like was that interception because it made no sense. He threw it to a guy literally right across the way from him that was like 10 yards away from him, threw it to him. And other than that, he stepped up and made some big throws and made some connections. And I felt a little bit better. I'm not like saying he's going to take us to the promised land. Trust me, I'm not on that boat. If anybody takes us to the promised land, it's the defense. But watching the defense go out there and watching the defense do what they did, we preach this all the time. Josh Allen doesn't scare me. Like, all you got to do is apply pressure to the boy and pause, and he's going to start to flake, to headache. And Isaiah Whitehead, 3 interceptions. My God, like who does this? My biggest takeaway from that,
isn't it Jordan Whitehead?
Or Jordan Whitehead, yeah, Jordan Whitehead. Isaiah Whitehead's a basketball player. I'm getting my shit mixed up. Jordan Whitehead, 3 interceptions. We sacked Allen, I believe, 5 times in the game, 4 or 5 times, and applied pressure to him a lot the entire game. But to capitalize once for a touchdown, that's what kills me, is that we can do all this. And Breece Hall, my God, Breece Hall. Oof. You would have never thought that boy tore his ACL.
What ACL? He tore what? I can't tell.
Get it out the way, man. I feel like it's like we're exposed now. We know what the game plan is. Give the ball to Breece Hall is what it's going to be probably. So I'm praying the whole time that they don't find what we're trying to do. I'm praying Zach Wilson's going to make throws, and we take the lead in the 4th. And Garrett Wilson makes an amazing catch. Like that's a top 10 play for sure. Bob will catch it, touchdown on Tre'Davious White at that.
Yep.
And there's a minute 30 left. And now all my friends are, giving it to me again. As soon as Rodgers went down, they're giving it to me. They're sending the memes. They're saying, See,
man, that's messed up. Listen, man, I don't like when something happens to your team. Why are you bothering me? Like, what good is this going to do for me? I hate people that do that kind of stuff. It's kind of annoying, honestly.
Right. So I'm at an all-time low. But when that touchdown was scored, I'm about here. I'm about an 8 now. I'm screaming. Literally, my neighbor had to come over because they thought there was a murder coming or happening in the house. So I was like, no, I'm just watching the game. I'm a passionate Jets fan. Just this doesn't happen.
Meanwhile, Aaron's texting me. Oh my God, I'm walking the house.
Back and forth.
Oh my God, I'm walking back and forth. Oh, the script. I was like, bro, I can feel your energy through text messages.
I had to talk to somebody. Everybody else was on my shit list right there and then. So yeah, there's a minute 30 left, and I'm not saying he's not Tom Brady, but they get down to this, they score the field goal, overtime. If there's two things I'll take away from this whole entire thing is one, New York and 9/11 do not ever go together. Bad things happen on that day. We can say that. And Josh Allen and coin flips, they are not his thing, I can say. So you won the coin toss this time, but you went 3 and out.
And then, that brings me back to my point from a couple years ago when everybody cried, "Oh, it's not fair. Josh Allen's not fair." All right, he won the coin toss. Now what? You know what I mean? Like, exactly. I'm so, God, do you know how much this shit irks me? Because after that overtime game against Mahomes, everyone was so depressed for Josh Allen that they started saying the next season, Josh Allen's better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, in what world is Josh Allen better than Patrick Mahomes? Because he had a good game? Like, come on, relax.
Because he puts up fantasy numbers for you. That's it.
I am so disgusted with that shit.
So to end it with a kick return for a touchdown, it was like the icing on the cake for me. I went through the roof, happy, screaming, excited. I couldn't believe it. But afterwards, I was coming down and I needed to understand this injury. I had to understand. And the next 12 hours until they announced it, I had to give myself a day to sit there and
Did you sleep?
My team. Huh?
Did you sleep?
Oh no, I did not sleep.
This poor man didn't sleep, y'all.
I did not sleep. I also was sick. I was getting sick, so that also played into it. But I had to give myself a day to literally indulge in all of this. And the entire day, everybody is telling me, you would have thought somebody passed away in my family. So sorry for your loss. Clowning me too. And that's the thing I can't stand is I don't ever dog any of my friends when shit happens. That's especially someone who's passionate about their sports. Me, I'm passionate about the Jets, but I'm not the biggest hoorah. Oh, we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not an annoying Jets fan. I'm a realistic Jets fan. I made this podcast because of the annoying Jets fans. But this was the year I felt 14-3, and I had to sit there all day, go through the dog shit, go through the text messages, get myself together to really understand and see where this team is going to be this year. And all I could formulate, and Sammy was giving me so much, and I was like, bro, you got to give me a day. Give me a day to talk up, and then hit me up the next day and let me see. But sitting there and really evaluating and looking at it, our ceiling is 10. Like, the best we can do is 10 in my books, but I'm going to give us 8. I'm going to give us 8 wins now.
No, that defense is too good, bro.
That defense is good.
That defense is stellar, bro.
KK, that defense was good last year too. We went and got 3 new pieces to add to it, and they complemented good. But KK, the defense.
You're gonna have a healthy Breece Hall this year because remember he got hurt.
But it's gonna come down to Zach Wilson. Cook. It's gonna come down to Zach Wilson. I'm telling you, if Zach Wilson can be what I saw yesterday, because beating the Bills is big. I don't care how you want to carve it up. That's a big team to beat. That's a Super Bowl contender every year for the past 5 years now. They're a solid team and a big rival and supposed to win the division. Beat them. And he had a good QBR rating. He made some good throws. He got off to a little slow start, but he was more accurate than I've seen him. It's going to rely on him unless we go and get a Jameis Winston, or an Andy Dalton.
You don't need to do all that.
No, we don't need to do all that. But whoever the fuck we go get to back him up, because we need a backup now.
You need Nick Foles. That's what you need. You need some magic. Don't.
No, that man is not.
You need some magic. You got Joe Douglas with him. You need some magic.
That happened with y'all, and I hope he doesn't sniff a New York locker room. But the best I could do sitting there and looking at it and thinking was 8 and 9 on the season. So I'm being optimistic. I am being optimistic. I want 10 wins. But that 14-3 party it got canceled.
Man, that ship sailed a long time ago. That ship got derailed by the Titanic.
And to the people saying, he's old and this and that, that injury had nothing to do with old age. That's a freak injury that happened out of nowhere, and it can happen to anybody just tearing an Achilles. It just happened to plant his leg the wrong way, and that's it.
But part of it, I mean, I think not the injury itself, but the recovery time. That's where the age is going to kick in. because the recovery time is definitely going to be a lot longer for somebody of his age who has that much wear and tear on his body and who plays the style of quarterback that he plays. He's not a sit in the pocket and just relax. He's like a very on the go type of quarterback. So that's kind of where the age is going to kick in. But overall, it's obviously, it obviously sucks. I think the game plan moving forward, I don't care. It's like I was switching back and forth between.
And one last thing I want to say, another wacky, crazy story that I saw, and shame on these motherfuckers, was that bar in Wisconsin that said every time the Jets lose, we pick up your tab. When Aaron Rodgers went out, those motherfuckers went to the bar and racked up a tab. And then when Xavier Gipson scored that touchdown, they realized, damn, I got a $250 bar tab I got to pay. So
that's funny.
I don't think anybody's be going to that bar anymore.
Nah, that's hilarious. But like I think the game plan moving forward for the Jets, I don't care what you say, run the damn football. I don't care if they think they can stop it. No, absolutely. Run the damn football. I was switching
three good backs. I
was switching back and forth between the Manning telecast and then Joe Buck and them, because I wanted to get like the energy of the game from Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Yeah. But then when I wanted to hear some analytical shit, I wanted to like this play. I saw that on Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I was so thankful because you cannot get that type of energy from Peyton and Eli Manning. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I was watching that too. And I was like, I can't go to this clown show anymore.
Yeah. So when I needed some, I wanted to hear a little bit of analysis, and I wanted to see what Peyton and Eli were saying. And Peyton had hit it on the nose. He's like, look, he kept saying, just run the ball. Just run the ball. He should only throw the ball 3-4 more times. Like, I was like, they're right. Because it's not like it wasn't working. No matter what. They can't pass block, but they did a better job run blocking. I'll give them that. You know what I mean? So, Dalvin Cook, 13 carries, 33 yards. Breece Hall, 10 carries, 127 yards. 10. What the hell is that shit?
No touchdowns to show for it either. That
even Michael Carter, only 1 carry, 6 yards. So
6 yards. He's golden, bro.
It's definitely there. As a receiving core. Unfortunately, the receiving core all of a sudden looks worse than what it was because it's not Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball anymore. Because, what does this mean for Randall Cobb? I don't know what this means for Randall Cobb.
I'm getting cut.
Randall Cobb only literally got up off the couch because Aaron Rodgers said, "Hey, boy, I took my ayahuasca and it says I should come back and play, so come with me." Alan Lazard had a couple, decent catches, but when you look at the roster, it's Garrett Wilson and a bunch of average as far as from the receiving core. So to me, definitely just invest in just running the football. Now Zach Wilson, optically, obviously, and I felt for him because over the summer, watching Hard Knocks, you could see the maturity was starting to come in because he finally realized, all right, man, I need to humble myself, and at least he was able to be behind his hero because he loves Aaron Rodgers. So it wasn't like Joe Flacco coming in and taking his job, you know what I mean? Or Mike White. It was somebody who's actually worth it to take his job. So he was comfortable with it. A lot of people in that situation would ask for a trade, and he was able to kind of stick through it this summer. So I think he's gotten good training over the summer from Aaron Rodgers and the coaches and everything like that. But still, you did not expect to play that game. So obviously the nerves were there. You could see the nerves were there a little bit. He kept getting, he was under duress and he was trying to escape sacks and shit. I'm like, bro, you need to just get rid of the football.
That made me nervous. But
I'm like, bro, get rid of the football because you cannot afford to get hurt too. Because his health has not always been that great either. You know what I mean?
If he were to get hurt, you know who would have been the backup to him?
Nah.
Randall Cobb.
I was about to say it must be Randall Cobb. It was like when the Jets, not the Jets, when the 49ers were down to Christian McCaffrey and shit. It was like, damn, what do you do? So obviously it's a blow. The schedule, to start off your schedule is going to be a little tough. But you got through the first one. And that's the most important thing. You got that monkey off your back.
That was my Super Bowl.
And from the Bills aspect, Josh Allen, and you were the first to kind of talk about this like a couple of years ago or last, whatever it was, about how he doesn't really put fear. I'm like, really? And then when you start closely observing it, I'm like, it's like there's Brian Daboll. That's Coach Daboll with him, and Coach Dayball without him. I mean, vice versa. You know what I mean? And clearly, Brian Dayball made Josh Allen look a lot better because the same issues that he had coming into the league, accuracy issues, just forcing passes, a lot of these different, superhero type of shit that he tries to do. Like, I've said this before. He's a combination of Cam Newton and Andrew Luck, right? But what's the one thing that both of those two had in common? Their bodies gave up by 30. And I don't think Josh Allen, the way he plays, it's reckless, right? I don't think he's going to be able to play as long as people think he's going to play because, Ben Roethlisberger was one thing, but Ben Roethlisberger is from the Midwest, and I don't know, he just kind of just took the licks and kept going. But the way he plays, trying to jump over people, run over people, I'm like, bro, you can only do this for so long. Because one hit from Cam Newton, and you can see Cam Newton's athleticism wane quickly. And then Andrew Luck, Andrew Luck on a Friday was like, you know what? I'm done. So yeah, it's definitely concerning if you're a Bills
fan. I'm not gonna be here
to watch Josh Allen play the way he plays. Stephon Diggs, he had a good game, 10 catches, 102 yards. Obviously, he was part of the reason why they even got into overtime. But I don't know, man. When I look at both of these two teams, it's like I don't know what to make of them anymore. Like I really don't. But what I do know is that the Jets have an excellent defense, so you can definitely hang your hat on that. Okay, so there you go. So before we move on, is there anything else you want to get off your chest from the Jets' perspective? Whatever, is there any therapy you need me to provide for you on this?
There's no therapy. I had to accept it. I had to sit down, really look at this team and see if I'm in or not. And I'm in. There's been years before I'm like, I'm not in.
You hanging on.
I'm hanging on. Yeah, I'm in fight for my life. Fight for my life right now.
Fight for my life.
But it's going to be a whole new game plan. I was excited to see Garrett Wilson become a top 5 receiver possibly this year, make an elite type of jump. And I'm not going to see that now. And this defense, I told you, top to bottom, it's the best we've put on the field in a
D-line is real.
It's
D-line will get after you. So that definitely is.
And some behind it.
For sure. But the strength. I mean, obviously, you got Sauce and Reed, but the strength is definitely. I mean, Quentin Williams is, bro. More and more when I watch Quentin Williams, I'm like, bro, I love this dude, man. Like, I would love to have him in the foxhole with me, like for sure.
Yeah, I love Quentin Williams. I'm just trying to see how they're going to I'm watching training camp now. I'm watching videos of camp now, or not camp, practice of them seeing what they're going to be trying to run and who's going to get the ball, and it has to be a run-heavy offense now. It really has to be. I don't want them to put a lot of pressure on Zach Wilson to throw the ball a lot. I do not want that. And if they are, play like Tom Brady, 15-yard passes at most. Don't sling the rock down the field to McCall Hardman or anything. I don't want to see that, man.
And the problem with what you just said is play like Tom Brady. The reason why Tom Brady is one of the greats to ever do it is because Tom Brady knows how to play like Tom Brady. When you've been playing quarterback your whole life a certain way, it's hard to just pick up, those kind of traits when your traits are always superhero, run around, your vision is the way your vision is. Like, so it's going to be hard for him to do that. I think what they need to do is protect him. Like, and I mean, from an offensive line standpoint and from a coaching standpoint, like, there's got to be a lot of screen passes, a lot of just quick things that he's not having to sit in the pocket and try to dissect the defense for too long. Because that's what kind of helped like Nick Foles in the playoffs. What's his name? Doug Peterson was in his ear up until he could not be in his ear anymore, and helped him run that RPO the right way. So, it's there. The recipe, the ingredients are there. Okay, but the recipe, we got to figure it out.
My final takeaway, though, is we were all in to win it this year. Everybody was in it to win it this year. It was what Salah preaches all year: all gas, no break. And what scares me now is end of the season. I looked at the roster of who's a free agent. There's 6 guys on this defense. 2 of them are the O-line or the D linemen that we signed. to 1 year, and I hope they want to run it back and come back on a 1 year. Or if they have, I'm scared that people are going to have big years and want to leave for the contract. McCole Hardman, I don't care if he leaves. I don't think he didn't get a catch in the game, but I feel like he might go back to Kansas City, knowing what's going on over there and how they need a receiver. But I'd like for him to stay. But there's 6 players that I'm worried about, and if we can keep them still, that would be nice on 1 year and try and run it back with Aaron Rodgers. But
does Aaron Rodgers come back? Is my question to you.
Yeah, he already alluded to it on his social media today. So he's coming back. He's coming back, and he's let the organization know he'll be back next year.
All right.
Unless something drastically happens, like they have to remove his leg or something. But I don't think
let's not see. We gotta stop putting this stuff in the air.
Well, I'm a Jets fan. I know
stop putting this shit
works. I know the way this shit works.
You
it's in fact, bro.
I beg you. You gotta stop. All right.
I'm waiting for like fucking Moses to walk into the Meadowlands with the 10 Commandments, and then I'll be like, oh my God, we're promised something now.
All right.
It's hard being a Jets fan, man.
We're moving on. We're moving on. Now, obviously, week 1 is always the most fun time in the world to overreact to everything that's going on. So I put down 5 different things, overreactions that I may have paid attention to this weekend or may have come up myself, and I want to see you let me know if it's an overreaction or not an overreaction, and then explain to me why. All right. And in doing that, we're going to be going over a few of these games that happened this weekend, because it was a wild weekend of football, from college with Texas beating Alabama, Colorado doing their thing again, all the way to the NFL. So it was a fun weekend of football. USF got a win, go Bulls. So bring in Nick Saban. Let's go. All right. Overreaction number 1. First game of the season, the Lions played the Chiefs. Obviously, we know the Lions, the Chiefs were without Travis Kelce and without Chris Jones, and it showed. It definitely showed. The offense stalled a lot. You can just tell he needs his security blanket, right? But I want to look at this from a Lions perspective. Overreaction or not an overreaction? The Lions are legit Super Bowl contenders.
Overreaction. I think they're a good team. I think not having your best defensive player for one game and your tight end, I think me and Sammy and you were talking at the bar saying MVP, most valuable player, you have to be the best player on your team. And it definitely showed that not having Travis Kelce makes a big difference. So
especially when you have to rely on somebody like Kadarius Toney.
Correct. Mr. Hands of Stone, Kadarius Stoney is what I'm gonna start calling him, man. But I think that's like overreaction of their Super Bowl. Good team, yes, good team. But
so what do you think Detroit needs to make? Because obviously, this is to get this win is going to do a lot for their confidence, right? So what do you think they're missing? Obviously, they only won by 1 point without Kelce and Chris Jones, so it's not like they went out and dominated. But what do you think they're missing?
Experience. They're just missing experience from a lot of those players. I think the best player that has the most experience is the quarterback. And I think he's humbled now. But I still think, even though David Montgomery had a great game, and I told you he's going to be good there, I still think not having – and they alluded to it that game too, that not having Jamal Williams there is got to be kind of tough. That's a vocal person to have there.
Dan Campbell was depressed about that. They were like, that was his son, basically.
Dan Campbell's the man. You saw him answer that question. Yeah. He's like, I know you're going to ask me about the defense, so I'm going to just get right to it. I was like, damn, Dan.
He's a dog.
I just think they need more mature players. I think a lot of those guys are just too young. They've never experienced it. I think they'll get in the playoffs. I think that's a good thing to say. But Super Bowl, the defense doesn't scare me. They've got some pieces, but
not better. No, they got my boy C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, he's a dog, but his mouth is going to get him a lot of plays. He's going to be like Carlton Davis to me, is what he's starting to look like to me, with a lot of shit going not in his favor when he makes the play. So,
but he brings that energy, like you said. Like Jamal Williams, what he was able to bring was that energy from a different kind of different type of energy. CJ energized the hell out of our defense last year. So, and it translates to the offense. So he may be able to have that effect on the defense. And then obviously Aiden Hutchinson was going against old boy who cannot stay on the line. He was lined up like 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He was getting up 4 seconds before the ball was snapped and was being held all game. So I think the Detroit defense is going to be a lot better than what it was last year. Health obviously is gonna play a big factor. Offensively, their offense is going to be their offense. Like they're not. Then Jahmyr Gibbs, he looks like he's the truth. Like every time he touches the football, you can see explosiveness. I'm like, bro, this dude is crazy. So, and then Montgomery, he looked a lot better than I thought he was going to look. In the Lions uniform, 21 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, that's a great way to kind of kick off your Lions career. And then Amara St. Brown, he's for real. Sam Laporta, one of my draft. He was one of my draft people that I'm in my fantasy drafts. I'm drafting him in every league I can. He showed out. Josh Reynolds showed out. So I think the Lions have a good team now. Super Bowl contender, I would say it's an overreaction as well. But the NFC is kind of weak, so it's like they can get hot at the right time and find themselves in a situation to get there. So we'll see with that. But I'll agree with you for now that it's an overreaction. And then last thing with this game. Kadarius Toney trolling the New York Giants after he deleted his social media the night before because he was getting trolled. He's soft, bro. He's like as soft as can be for that shit. I mean, I don't have no. I can't give him any credit, nothing. Like I'm like, I understand you had a bad game and it sucks to get made fun of, but don't go after. It's not like those players wanted to get rid of you. Like what are you trolling the players for? So I was very disappointed in Kadarius Toney on that. So I just wanted to make sure I said that.
Yeah, he's my new Eli Apple. He's a clown.
He's getting close. And that was one of the crazy, wackiest things I've seen in the last week. Eli Apple, his baby mama said, I'll pay the fine if anybody wants to go for his knees or send him out for the year. So that's crazy shit right there. So but yeah, we're done with this game. All right. Next overreaction, the next game that I wanted to speak on. Joey B. You talked about a little bit earlier. He got his contract. Boy got paid $217 million guaranteed, $275 for 5 years. Obviously, he had a little bit of an injury over the summer. And last week you kept talking about it like, is it the contract? Is it the injury? Like, something smells different. And since then, obviously he got paid, so he obviously was going to play. So maybe there was something to that, right? Well, he played, but if you look at the stat sheet, I can't tell. If you had T. Higgins like myself in fantasy football, 0 catches for 0 yards, couldn't tell that Joe Burrow was in this game. He went 14 for 31, 82 yards. 82 yards. I'm flabbergasted, right? I think he's now 1-6 or 1-7 against the Browns now. It's not like the Browns. I mean, it's not like Deshaun looked that much better. I mean, it wasn't like the Browns looked that much better offensively. But Nick Chubb was going to be Nick Chubb, and that defense got after him, and that's the formula. You look at the Jets. That's the formula. Quarterback, don't make mistakes. Running backs, go do what you do, and defense, go get after the quarterback. I mean, the recipe could work. So my overreaction question on this one. The Browns are winning the NFC North.
Overreaction. I think there's too much competition in the North. I still like the Ravens to do it. I will say with Joe Burrow, and this has been something I've been teetering on in a while. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I see games like this, and I'm going to put my foot in my mouth next week, I know, for this. But
you will.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has their bad games, but I've been thinking about this for a while. Like when Joe Burrow has a bad game, he has a really bad game, and he's had a few of them in his career. And we can allude that it's not to an O-line and they don't give him an O-line and this and that. But there's just sometimes I think we overanalyze him and we say he's this great quarterback, because he did go to the Super Bowl. I'm not taking that from him. Is his team around him really good that get him there, or is he really the the main thing. Because I sit there and I look and I'm like, as shitty as the defense is, Trey Hendrickson's a beast. The corners they have are pretty good now that Eli Apple is gone. The safety is pretty good. And their wide receiving core, you could throw it wherever, and most likely they're going to catch. Well, if you throw the ball,
if you throw the ball
vicinity. And Joe Mixon gets busy when he needs to get busy. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's a great quarterback, but I want to believe he had an off game, and maybe it was injury. Maybe he did just get paid a lot of money. I was like, I'm not going to practice. I don't want to believe he's that type of guy, but I'm going to monitor it now. And I'm thinking, not saying that he's overrated. I don't want to say that whatsoever. I'm just saying
you're walking a fine line right now.
I am. I feel like I'm already starting to, sign my death warrant right now, but I'm paying attention to it closely because this team is the same pretty much from last year in my book, just minus Eli Apple. But it's the Browns have their ticket. They have their number already. So last year they were running through the division, beating the Steelers, beating the Ravens, winning one against the Browns, I think, last year. Maybe they lost two.
Remember, they started off the year last year pretty trash. They
did.
They were 0-2, and we're already starting to question whether or not they can, do it again.
Yeah, my foot's in my mouth now. So yeah.
Exactly. So, and my other thing, and Nick Sirianni alluded to it as well for the Eagles. Like, your first time playing any kind of real NFL football since January is on the road against Cleveland, against a division rival with Myles Garrett coming down the line of scrimmage to come get the quarterback. You have no continuity with your players, and the weather was really bad. I give him a pass. I give him a pass on this one. It was like a whirlwind of unfortunate shit that was going to happen in that game. Like,
I retract my statement.
I'm gonna let you retract your statement before
because I've just been trying to pay close attention. I'm like, he shouldn't have that bad of a game. Like, he should have at least 100 yards throwing. Like,
that was alarming. I will say that. Like, 86 yards is crazy, but it's like I want to look at has Tom Brady had bad games like that? I mean, it wasn't like I don't think he's had bad of a game like that.
It pains me to say Zach Wilson had a better game than Joe Burrow.
He absolutely did. I mean, they both completed the same amount of passes, but Joe Burrow threw 10 more and still with way less yards to show for it. So, yeah, he definitely did. So, so we're saying overreaction on the Browns, one of the North. You know what? Baltimore did not look that good against the Texans. Obviously, the Bengals did not look great at all. And then the Steelers got mollywopped. I mean, they got varsity versus like the freshman team when San Francisco came through and beat them. I mean, all that shit from the preseason, they had such a great preseason and everybody's riding the Steeler wave and the terrible titles waving. They got destroyed, bro. Brock Purdy has not played football since his arm fell. I mean, his elbow fell out of his arm, and he was out there just dishing it. Brandon Ayuk was just killing him. Like, defensively, they were just killing him. I mean, that San Francisco team, man.
I saw Kenny Pickett throw once to George Pickens for like 40, and I was like, all right, I was right about this, and then I didn't see anything happen the rest of the game. I was like, okay, I was wrong.
It was kind of rough. So. But so the AFC North is typically a competitive division. So I still, the Ravens were my Super Bowl pick. So I'm gonna rock with the Ravens to win that division and get to the Super Bowl still. But the Browns have put people on notice. I mean, they have a quarterback. It's not like, you got to remember that Deshaun Watson went through a lot of shit over the last couple of years, and it's taking time for him to get back to the Deshaun Watson that we remember. I mean, he only 16 for 29, 154 yards. I mean, one touchdown, one pick. It was nothing incredible there. But you got Nick Chubb. They need to probably go get Kareem Hunt back. Like, hey, you trying to just be our slash and dash again? And then their receiving core. I mean, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, David Njoku. I mean, they're Donovan Peoples-Jones. They're solid. I mean, it's a decent group. So. To win the North it's too early for me to call that right now. So it's an overreaction. But come week 8, if they still looking like this, my tone might change a little bit on them because Joe Burrow looked horrible. So
they have pieces. The Browns definitely have always had pieces for like the last 5 years. It's just getting the right ones at the helm. And I still don't think Deshaun Watson is it with the cloud that he brings with it. But hopefully, I'm praying for him that he can bounce back and stuff like that. But we'll see.
That cloud is going to take time.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, what he's being accused of and all that was obviously not pretty. But the farther and farther you get away from all of that, and if they're winning, the Browns fans don't give a shit. Like they the moment that he got that contract, Browns fans forgot that he ever did anything wrong in the first place. So yeah, if they're winning, I think all that shit kind of goes out the window. Ben Roethlisberger, he went through the same shit. And no one really talk. People bring it up when they want to bring it up, but it didn't affect his career much, honestly. So, but yeah, overreaction for now. All right, my next one, and this one pains me. This one pains me because but I do got to keep it real. The Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Is that an overreaction?
Super Bowl?
The Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl.
Overreaction.
Why is that? Because for the first time, I can honestly say, and I know the Giants, it's not like the Giants are special or anything like that, but that you talking about we talk about defense winning championships. Yeah, that defense is ridiculous, bro. Like again, it's not like the Giants are an incredible football team. I think they overachieved last year.
Oh, me too.
And once again, when they paid Daniel Jones, they did not want to play Saquon Barkley. And I said it at that time, like, I don't understand it. Clearly, it doesn't make any sense, right? So maybe it's the Giants where they look really bad, but you obviously talked about it, one of the craziest, wackiest things you've seen this week. So, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys?
I think the Cowboys are a good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from the Cowboys. I just know when it comes playoff time, it's a different type of ball game, and there's going to be teams lining up to beat these boys because they're annoyed of their fans. They're annoyed of the shit that they talk. They're annoyed of what the Cowboys bring, and it happens every year. So until I see them get there, I'll continue to say they won't because they're the most arrogant team in football. I don't care whatever fan base there is. The Cowboys are the most arrogant, thinking they're getting to the Super Bowl every year when they lived 1996 through 1998 or whatever they won those 3 Super Bowls.
No, it was 92 to 96. Because they won like 3 out of like 5 or 6 years. Yeah. So they haven't won shit since 1995 or 6.
Yeah. Okay. So let's pump the brakes now, America's team. You look good, but like you said,
you look good.
It's a divisional game, so divisional games are always going to play with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
But 0 points to 40?
Let me get
on the road?
Let me get to my point. I think, just like you agreed, the Giants overachieved last year what they did. I think we saw the real Daniel Jones once again. It was a pet. What do I preach every year? When it's contract year, you're going to ball out. You're going to do everything right. And then when you get paid, you come down to earth. And Daniel Jones looked like Daniel Jones of before. And I've never seen a man look lost, immobile, and inaccurate in a pocket more in my life than Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones in my lifetime. So it's heartbreaking to see. I don't think the defense is that good. They've got some good guys on the line. The corners are questioned. The linebackers are okay. The safeties are meh. But the Giants just don't scare me. They have no receivers still. Haystacks. Darren Waller got busy a little bit when he could get catches. But he got busy when he could. When he could get busy, he got busy.
Led his team in catches. Well, tied for the lead. Saquon, Darius Slayton, and him. But yards, golly, they were trash.
Yeah,
he led the team in yards with 36 yards. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I think it's taking advantage of when you can take advantage. And Cowboys have a good team. I got to play them next week, so I'm a little bit I already got Cowboys fans chirping at me. Oh, get ready for them boys.
God.
Boys, all right.
Please don't let these people beat you, bro, because you know I'm going to be pissed.
You don't want it.
You know I'm going to be real pissed.
Oh, I got memes already lined up for them. You still them boys?
Nah, so, I mean, I honestly don't think it's an overreaction, and I hate to say that. But, you know, from watching football this weekend, two teams stood out to me.
There's 16 games still to be played.
I know.
Anything can happen.
I know. That's why we're doing overreaction week 1, because everybody has something to overreact about. There was 2 teams I watched this weekend that I was like, holy shit. San Francisco made me like shit my pants. I was like, oh my God, we don't have to deal with that. Now they're pissed off at us. Now they're pissed. When we see them again, it's going to be fireworks, and they go, I don't know. And we didn't look that impressive. And then the Cowboys, I mean, to beat a divisional team on the road 40-0, I mean, on national TV, I mean, it's I think it just makes it even look worse. And all summer long, everybody's, oh, Cowboys, I think this is the year. And I laughed and I chuckled, and I still want to laugh and chuckle. But this is the first time in a while I'm like, oh shit. So we'll see. I mean, Tony Pollard looked healthy. I mean, clearly they made the right decision there. So we'll see. But you know, it's still early. But I won't say it's an overreaction right now, because I do think that the NFC. If they were in the AFC, I'll be like, all right, pump the brakes. But the NFC is not like the NFC is boasting a lot of just talent. There's a few good teams, you know what I mean? So we'll see there. All right. Next overreaction. It's a 2-parter. Tua Tagovailoa will win MVP, and Tyreek Hill will win Offensive Player of the Year.
No to Tua, yes to Tyreek.
Okay.
Tyreek, I try and find ways to shit on him, maybe because I just don't like his character. But man's a baller, man. That dude
can't say nothing wrong.
I can't. He's all over the field where he needs to be. But Tua, I just think it proves if you can keep him protected, he can make plays. MVP, I think that's a bit far-fetched, in my opinion. The MVP talk should be the guys we talk about every year.
But why? Because not like if we just take the name away, let's just take the name away and just look at the numbers. When he played last year, it looked good. And when he didn't play last year, the Dolphins looked trash. So what's an MVP? Like Kelsey, right?
Yeah, I okay, valid point. I agree on that. But even when Teddy Bridgewater was throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill, he was getting busy when he needed to get busy. So I think keeping Tua healthy is definitely important to the Dolphins. I just really hate Dolphins fans too. They're pretty annoying too. But I'm trying to take my heart out of this. I think with Tua is we're spoiled because we see these games and we're like, damn, he's a great quarterback. And then week 4, he goes out and we're like, man, he could have been a great quarterback. Yeah. So I'm not praying that for Tua. I've been rooting for Tua. I just hate that he's with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think speaking MVP talk right now, week 1, if the season ended today, yeah, I mean, if we shut down the NFL and COVID 2.0 happened and we had to give it to someone, I think Tua wins it. But there's 16 games left to play. Even Joe Burrow had a bad game. So what happens when Tua has that type of game? Are we going to be like, oh, Tua's not real anymore? Mm-hmm. Sports, it's like this all the time. There's very few, like even Patrick Mahomes, he lost that game, but I don't think he lost that game. I think his receivers lost that game. He had a great game.
That's clear. Yeah. Even think about it, even the Super Bowl when they lost to the Bucs, he did everything he could, but that offensive line could not protect him.
Yeah. So I think Tyreek winning Offensive Player of the Year is not out of the hunt at all. I think he's definitely a one that we should talk about for the last like few years, top 3.
Yeah. And he's definitely way ahead of AJ Brown right now. I can tell you
that. Yeah. And Tua, he could be there, but I just don't see him being MVP. And I'd like to be wrong at that because I like the guy. So
yeah, I mean, I'll definitely agree. Tyreek Hill definitely is definitely going to be, like I said last week, for a receiver to win Offensive Player of the Year or MVP, he's going to have to get 2,000 yards.
He's already got 200.
He's got 215 and 16 games to go. So with that math, obviously that's not going to happen. But 215 times 17, that's 3,655 yards. So obviously that's not going to happen. But he's obviously off to a good start. 2 touchdowns. I mean, the game-winning touchdown. I think Tua throws a good football. You know, we watched him at Alabama. I mean, he was amazing to watch. And then the injuries happen. You know what I mean? And that's always going to be the thing that might stop him from ever winning an MVP, because he might not be able to play more than 12, 13. He hasn't played over 13 games in a season yet. So, you know, obviously, you know, I hope for the best for him, because I like to do, you know, I like humble people, right? He's a humble dude. You know, he's Hawaiian. You know, he got his family to move from Hawaii to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I mean, that's incredible. So, you know, I wish the best for him, but I think Tyreek winning Offensive Player of the Year is a much better chance than Tua winning MVP. Now, looking at it from the Chargers angle, obviously, you know, every year we talk about the Chargers, like maybe, you know, we support them, and once again, you know, they can't close out a victory. It was like that is a common theme with this football team. What are we supposed to make of the Chargers? I mean, Austin Eckler looked fantastic. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who's working for his money? Like, Josh Jacobs didn't really do much this week. Saquon wasn't able to do that much this week. You know, all these running backs. This man, Austin Eckler is on another level. You know, when you're undrafted, you always have something to prove. And no matter what, he's always going to feel like that. And then Joshua Kelly also came in for another 91 yards on top of that. So, but they still found a way to lose. So what are we supposed to do with the Chargers this year? Like what's the ceiling and what's the floor?
I think it's just the defense. I think the defense is that bad. I think they went and got one guy in the front in Bosa, and Joey Bosa, and he's good.
He ain't his brother.
I mean, he's still good.
He's good, but he ain't his brother.
I know, but he's still good. Nick Bosa's on a whole nother planet. They're from the same gene pool. I think when you have players that are good around you, and you can find out who will be the leader and the vocal person for that. I just don't think they've done that to Joey Bosa. I don't think Joey Bosa has anybody on the line with them.
Khalil Mack?
Oh, they've got Khalil Mack. That's right.
Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James.
Well, all I was going to say, what I was going to allude to was they've only gone out and addressed the secondary. The middle is wide open all the time for them boys. Their linebacker core is exposed. I never heard any good linebackers from the Chargers in the last couple of years. The last good one I heard was what's his face? Merriman. That's the last good, and Phillips. Those are the last two linebackers.
Steroid ass.
Yeah.
Lights out. I mean, I like Eric Kendricks. He's not bad.
He's out of his prime though. Like
Kenneth Murray. I mean, he was not bad.
Wasn't Kendrick supposed to go to jail for like a Ponzi scheme or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know what happened with that shit.
Yeah, I don't know either. So he's not a guy I want to trust on the team. But I think the secondary, we preach it to be this really good secondary, and they were catching passes on these boys. So I don't know. I think their defense outside of Khalil Mack is just taking a step back. I don't want to.
I mean, he's honestly, when you think about it, he's starting to age a little bit, and it's starting to show. I think his best days are definitely behind him. I think, it's it's not, somebody's supposed to flash on your screen, right? Like when Aaron Donald plays football, he's on the field. You know what I mean? All the time. When Quentin Williams plays football, he's on the field all the time. Sometimes I'll be forgetting him, like you forgot he's on the team. Like sometimes you be forgetting he's still in the league sometimes. But there's Khalil Mack, like intimidating force, you know what I mean?
Him and Amari Cooper give me the same type of vibes. Like they're good at what they do, but they just like don't seem like they like doing what they do. So I'm not taking anything away from Khalil Mack. I'm not pointing a finger at him. I'm pointing more at how they address the defense and put players around them. I think the Dolphins have more of a complete defense with pieces in the linebacking core, in the secondary, and up front, as opposed to the Chargers that have just two good D-line guys and supposedly these stud secondary guys. But I also think it comes with maturity too. I think it comes with maturity, and I feel like the secondary isn't that mature and got burnt. I don't want to put any blame on Justin Herbert. I know his only had 229 yards and a touchdown, but
when you go against the dude that you're going to be linked to forever, you know, because when they were drafted like right next to each other, Tua went off. Justin Herbert got to do something more than that. I'm sorry, like you see the other dude on the other side going crazy. I'm gonna need to see more of these.
But the defense got to be able to help out too. I don't want to put all the stress on the quarterback. He had a pretty decent game. I know he only threw one touchdown, but you got Austin Eckler, who's a Swiss Army knife, and you just throw him the ball, and you know he's gonna get you 100 yards and at least a touchdown.
Dog, bro. He's such a dog.
So the offense, I got nothing to gripe about there. It's the defense. You gotta bring your share to the table too. You gotta bring your effort in as well. And I just feel like those boys don't have a defense. That's their Achilles heel in my book. How you beat the Chargers? Throw it in the middle. Maybe throw it to the weaker corner, and you're gonna win. That's how you're going to beat them.
Or just have a Tyreek Hill on the field, and there's nothing you can do to stop him. No matter who you are, there's nothing you can do to stop this dude. So.
Tyreek lives in the middle of the field. Tyreek
he's so fast, bro.
He is, but I just that's my gripe with the Chargers. I'm sick of everyone putting it on Justin Herbert. If Justin Herbert could go out there and run with a wide receiver, I bet you he'd do it, but he can't. So
he also needs a better coach. Like we said, like we've been saying, he's a better coach. All right. Last overreaction question. Jordan Love was the right answer all
along. I'm high on Jordan Love.
Big facts.
I'm high on Jordan Love. I think this first game for him, I think it's an overreaction to say that he's going to be a great quarterback this season. I just think it was the Bears, and the Packers have the Bears number.
We own you still.
Yeah, still. And everyone was like, oh, the Bears are going to be so much better. I don't see any moves that made them better. I know Justin Fields is good. I know he's good. I'm not saying he's not. But, like, they did not address the defense. There's nobody on that defense that scares me whatsoever. There's no Leonard Floyd there. There's no Khalil Mack of back in the day.
There's no Roquan Smith, who they should have just gave him money to.
Yeah, there's no Eddie Jackson. There's none of those boys there. So throw the ball all day, man. You're gonna be straight. You'll be fine.
Eddie Jackson's still there.
Eddie Jackson's still there?
He's still there. Well,
he's got to be old now.
They got Ngakoue.
I thought he retired.
They got TJ Edwards from us. So they got something. It's not like they're horrible.
TJ Edwards.
Bro, he did well for us last year.
All right, yeah. He ever make an all-pro team, or is he?
It don't matter. You know how hard it is to make an all-pro team? Damn.
He's an okay rotational player, is what we'll say. But they got Ngakoue, really? I thought he retired.
They got Ngakoue. They got Ngakoue. He had a sack. He had 4 total tackles, a sack.
I saw it. Ngakoue got a sack, and I was like, it's got to be another Ngakoue. It can't be Yannick.
It's Yannick, bro.
Good for him. I thought he was going to go be an electrician. So
he's still.
I think Jordan Love is the right move. Obviously, you moved on from Aaron Rodgers, and you're giving him keys. I think that's a good move. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but I think it's an overreaction to be like, oh, he's going to have this amazing season whatsoever. I think he's going to have a good season, but not like MVP talk or like Packers make the playoffs type thing or anything like that. So.
You know, I mean, going into the season, I've been very high on the Packers. I think, you know, we give the Packers a hard time because they never put that many weapons around Aaron Rodgers all these years, right? When it comes to drafting. But they draft really well. Like defensively, they put together a pretty solid football team. Offensively, I mean, it's not like Christian Watson didn't even play, and you know, they're still able to put up 38 points on the road. Jordan Love, I mean, he had a pretty, I wouldn't say it was exceptional, but he had a pretty, you know, a good game. I mean, what was it? 15 and 27, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 123.2. That, I mean, that's a very, you know, solid way to kick off your career. And then I look at Aaron Rodgers, his first year with the Packers. He threw for 4,038 yards, 28 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I don't see why Jordan Love can't pull off that same exact stat line. And, you know, I think
I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him.
I really do think the Packers are still going to win the NFC North.
Okay.
Honestly, when I pull the curtains back and I really sit back and I look, Tampa Bay obviously beat the Vikings this week. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's just I like some of the things that he does, but he gets on my nerves sometimes. But shout out to Baker Mayfield.
Remember how Ryan Fitzpatrick won week 1 and everyone fell in love with him with a gold chain?
Listen. I agree with you, but I agree with you. But the Vikings are always like a question mark to me. Even with all the talent they have, they're always a question mark.
There's no defense.
The Lions, like you said, I mean, it is going to be tough for them to go to the Super Bowl, but they're a contender for sure. But the Packers, to me, are the more complete football team. I mean, like they have the running backs, they got the receivers now. The defense looks good. They have a top 3 or 4 corner in Jair Alexander. I mean, I really like this football team. So I think it's not an overreaction for me. I think Jordan Love was just because think about it. In the last 30 years, they've had Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. They clearly know what they're doing. Like they understand how to pass that torch. They make it awkward at the end. It's always going to be awkward at the end of that tenure because it's always hard to move on to the next guy. But the transition has been very seamless when from Favre to Aaron, and now we look at Jordan Love to go beat your rival on the road in your first game and pretty convincingly. Tip the cap. I got to tip the cap. So. I'm rocking. I mean, I might be eating my words and eating crow, whatever. But I like the Packers, honestly, man. I think they can go like 10-7 this year, and 10-7 can win you the division. I think the Lions are good, but we'll see with them. But I like the Packers, man. I like Jordan Love. I like his moxie, his swag. I think when you're behind somebody like Aaron Rodgers for that long, you pick up on traits. Zach Wilson, you can see he's already started to pick up on some of the traits from Aaron Rodgers, and he's only been there for the summer. Jordan Love has been there for 3 years now.
You know what the best trait he picked up on is? Not having the sleeves anymore. Aaron said
small things. So I'm rooting for the Packers right now. I'm happy for Jordan Love, so I won't call it an overreaction. All right, moving on.
I got one for you, real quick. I got one for you. Throw this one out there. Were the Rams playing possum the entire fucking time?
Right.
Were the Rams playing possum the entire time?
So I was going to put that on the list, and then I was like, I don't know. Because that's a tough one for me. Like, I did not see this coming. I mean, I was talking about the Seahawks all summer. Are we not talking about the Seahawks enough? Little do we know, we're not talking about the Rams enough. No Cooper Kupp, no problem. They got this Samoan dude and Tutu Atwell. I'm like, bro, what is going on?
We've been waiting for Tutu's name to be called too.
What's up?
We've been waiting for Tutu's name to be called.
Yeah, I've been like, yo, he's a good football. I remember in college, I'm like, yo, this dude is nice. He's a smaller guy, but he can play. Yo, Sean McVay, you gotta get a man his credit. I mean, there's some like evil geniuses, like young coaches in the league. Like Kyle Shanahan, he just finds a way to figure it out. Quarterback, running backs, he'll figure it out, right? Maybe Sean McVay is cut from that same cloth, and we're not really thinking about it as much as we should be, because to beat Seattle that convincingly, I mean, and in Seattle, I don't know, man. Well,
what I'm saying, playing possum is Matt Stafford's wife coming out and saying he doesn't have any his receivers, they don't like him, and he doesn't like them, and
we're just dogging the shit. They will blow smoke up our ass.
Exactly. He clearly threw for a freaking 334 yards and connected with two no names. And
bruh, I thought Aaron Donald was about to retire. I was this close, but like Aaron Donald's not going to make it past this season. Now Cooper Kupp, he can't wait to get back. He's like, man, I can't wait to heal this hamstring. Because we're actually serious about winning again. So, last year obviously was like a disappointment with everything that happened. But Matt Stafford is still Matt Stafford. The running game is going to be there. The coach is still the coach. I mean, like 30-13 on the road. Like, damn, with the 12th man. And then Geno Smith looked like old Geno again.
He didn't throw no picks, but I mean, he just didn't look comfortable.
112 yards. Hey, so that's yeah, creative. I mean, they're playing possum. They knew what they were doing all summer. They all the attention was off of them. Everyone's saying the NFC is weak again, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, they've been plotting. Like they've been plotting. So, but again, it's 1 week. We'll see what happens. It's still 1 week, so we're gonna have to give that one a little bit of time. But all right. Other games, and I want to run through the rookies really quickly. We saw some people make some debuts. Started off with Bryce Young in his first start versus Bijan Robinson in his first game. Atlanta, like I said all summer, Atlanta's done some things that I'm a huge fan of, and I think they can be really competitive in this division. Ples was on the show a couple weeks ago. He said they were trash. And I was like, I don't think they're that bad. And the running game, Tyler Algier and Bijan went off. Desmond Ridder only completed 15 of 18 passes, 115 yards, but only 3 incompletions. Like, he didn't make mistakes. You know what I mean? And then meanwhile, looking at Bryce, number 1 overall pick, 20 of 38, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. We were talking about the Bengals earlier. They also did lose what was his name? Jesse Bates. And Jesse Bates was able to, get those interceptions. So I think the Falcons did some good thing on defense. But just break down your first impressions on my young fella Bryce Young and then Bijan as well.
I think with Bryce, it's going to be growing pains. You're with a fairly new constructed team, a new head coach, a new system. So it should be good for you coming in, but for the guys that have been there, they got to get acclimated to this. And it's getting on rapport with your what do you call it? Your quarterback. And it's a divisional game. It's going to be tough. These teams play each other very well. As much as we dog the NFC South now, like, they go at each other's neck each time they played each other, every game. And there's games we say, oh, the Saints are going to blow out the Falcons, and the Falcons beat them in week 1 last year. Mm-hmm. So anything is possible when it's a divisional game. But I think Bryce is just going to have growing pains. He'll grow into it. He'll be okay. Not the type of entrance into the NFL you want to see, but it is what it is. Bijan Robinson, I wanted to think outside of the box on the Rookie of the Year thing, but I think he's the Rookie of the Year. I saw him make those guys miss those tackles.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I mean, this kid is going to be good. He's good.
I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs looked pretty good too, but Bijan, yeah, he's got. My thing with the Panthers, you look. I always like to look at receiving cores and, like, all right, how are you going to help your quarterback? You know what I mean? Like, just think of a young quarterback that's coming to the league. Joe Burrow came into the league, and he had Jamar Chase, he had T. Higgins, and he had Tyler Boyd. Great way to start off your NFL career. You know what I mean? Having those guys. And then you look at Bryce Young. His best receiver is who? Adam Thielen. How old is Adam Thielen? Old. Laviska Shenault. He was a failed project in Jacksonville. Everyone was hyping up Jonathan Mingo all summer for fantasy purposes. I can't see it. Yeah. Hayden Hurst, he's been coming.
But what have I been saying? Give him a tight end that can. Hayden Hurst, I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a fuck if you want to dog him, but the man catches the ball when it's thrown.
Of course.
And give him a tight end.
That's fine. But he's their best receiver, in my opinion, and that's not good enough. That's not good enough because
I agree with you too.
And that's the problem. And then you look at Atlanta, you're talking about receivers. If I told you that Kyle Pitts and Drake London will combine for 2 catches for 44 yards, you would see. What would you say? They fight, bro. I feel so bad for Kyle Pitts and Drake London because I watched both of them in college. And they're really good. And now they're like, it's like Georgia Tech. They're in this offense where we just gonna run the football. So we just gonna run the football.
I don't get that. And it's like you look at this receiving core and Mac Hollins turns heads.
Yeah, he does.
I think he's super overrated, but like he's animated, he's got the crazy hair, but he's not a bad player. He's a good 3 on him.
He's solid.
Yeah, but I think Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Like, what are we doing here? We wanted to romanticize about these guys,
but they won. So like,
they won, yeah.
But receivers are divas. Like, yeah, all right, cool, we won, but shit, I'm trying to get paid. I can't get paid here.
Exactly. So I don't know. It sucks to see it. You don't want to see it because I thought Drake London was going to be really good, and I'm not taking away from his talent. I just think they don't have the right quarterback, and it's not a throwing quarterback.
Not even just quarterback. That's just their offense. Their offense is old school. Like, we're gonna run the shit out of football. We're gonna dump it off to our running backs.
What tree does he fall out of? What tree does he fall out of? The head coach.
The Tennessee Titans.
Run the ball. Shit.
Drake. Yeah. I mean, Drake. Dreadnought. He looked. You were right. He looked good. He looked good. So, but yeah. Good. Shout out to Bijan Robinson and Bryce Young. That's my boy. So I think he's gonna be fine. Just give him some time and give him some receivers. CJ Stroud versus Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers looked fantastic, as advertised. Everything they said was as advertised. I mean, you have a team where you have a first-round pick in Rashad Bateman, a first-round pick in OBJ, first-round pick in Zay Flowers, and Mark Andrews didn't play. Zay Flowers outshined everybody. I mean, he outshined Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
He's definitely a real deal. Now that they have this in their back pocket, the Ravens are off for the races, right? And then defensively, they held Mr. CJ Stroud to 242 yards, which is an impressive way to, 44 passes in your first game. It's a lot of passes. No interceptions, no touchdowns, obviously. Only put up 9 points, so that was obviously, a little rough. But, it's first game with the coach, first game with the quarterback. Obviously there's going to be some growing pains, and a lot of adjustment. Nico Collins, 6 catches, 80 yards. Robert Woods, 6 catches, 57 yards. So, I mean, they got, they got some pieces there, but it's definitely going to be some time for them before they make that leap. But kind of just assess what you felt about Zay and about CJ.
Not even talking about Will Anderson either, bro. Will Anderson got a
defense. What is it? 6 tackles, a sack. He had a sack. Okay,
he had a sack. Yeah.
All right, my boy. Hey,
Will Anderson.
I wanted Will Anderson to be an Eagle. The moment he wasn't an Eagle, I forgot where he played.
I think the rookies, and I mean, CJ Stroud's going to be growing pains too. You're going into a brand new run organization, historically bad organization for the last couple of years. And I think not to throw any interceptions, that's pretty good. It's going to be rough getting a touchdown on the Ravens. I think we can agree with that. But you got 9 points on the board from the kicker. Good for you. I think he looked pretty good. He didn't make any bonehead plays that I saw. I was like, damn, that's bad. But Zay Flowers was as advertised, definitely. Mm-hmm. Zay Flowers, I saw him making dudes miss, making good cuts into the pause into the defense. Just wish he could have got a touchdown. And Will Anderson, that's who I was looking at the entire time. I wanted to see if this is really what we were told should be the number 1 pick. And he looked as advertised.
Would you say he flashed? Like, you remember what I was talking about earlier? Like, you could tell he's on the field.
Yeah, I could tell he's on the field.
Exactly. And that's when you have D'Amico Ryans as your head coach. I'm not surprised at all. So you're right to big up Will Anderson. And then I was definitely impressed with CJ Stroud. Honestly, like, obviously they didn't win the game and didn't put up that many points, but he when they were doing, remember pre-draft, it was like, is CJ going number 1? Is Bryce going number 1? And I was like, I could see why you would want to go with CJ number 1. He looks the part. Honestly, he really does look the part. I think Bryce Young's decision making is a little bit better, but he threw 2 interceptions in his first game. So it's just we'll see how that goes. But CJ definitely looks the part. Will Anderson definitely looks the part. But Zay Flowers, we talk about Rookie of the Year. Put his name in. I mean, appreciate. We got to put his name in that hat. Honestly,
that was mine.
Think about it. Garrett Wilson won it last year, and Chris Olave was second, right? So it's not like it's a receiver's game now. So quite frankly, yeah, you definitely got to put Zay. You definitely got to put Zay in that category. And then Anthony Richardson versus the Jags. What say you?
I mean, I don't think he did that bad, to be honest with you.
It didn't look that bad either.
It didn't look that bad. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to know what you were gonna say, but I mean,
all right, I'll say. I mean, I expected the worst and was pleasantly surprised. Honestly, I thought he was going to go like 20 for like 53. They were going to overuse him and they were going to make him. I mean, he had 10 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown, and that touchdown looked good. I mean, he's all of 240 pounds. Like when Cam Newton shit. Like if he's lining up at that line, just know you're gonna have to deal with him. So I think the threat of him being a dual threat in this type of offense, phenomenal. And my dumbass slept on Michael Pittman in fantasy, and he slipped in a lot of people's drives. And 8 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown, 11 targets. Clearly, he has a guy that he likes, right? So, and when you see something like that, if you're Jonathan Taylor, it's like, all right, maybe they are trying to win some games. Maybe let's talk about this contract situation and let's see if we can get something worked out, because this is a team that, if Jonathan Taylor's on this football team with Anthony Richardson, that's a hard thing to defend. Like, that's really tough when you got two dudes that can literally each go for 100 yards rushing. And on top of the fact that Anthony Richardson has a strong arm, accuracy is obviously an issue, but he will get the ball where it needs to go distance wise, and he's able to, that read option, he's able to fake that shit really well. And Shea Steichen's gonna have some fun with him. So definitely Anthony Richardson, somebody you should look out for. We can see why all that hype was there. And then also on the other side, Calvin Ridley, his first game back from his gambling addiction problem, but he did not miss a beat. Calvin Ridley is top 3 route runner in the league right now. Like I love watching him run routes. It's like, damn, you get it, bro. So Trevor Lawrence has somebody. I mean, Christian Kirk, all that shit last year of him getting all that money. He had 1 catch for 9 yards, and that's what I was saying. I was like, bro, he is not like that. 1 catch for 9 yards, 3 targets, only 3 targets. So I mean, even Zay Jones was out there looking better. So, but Calvin Ridley, I got to give him. I mean, I'm happy that he's back because I like watching him play. So.
And I know they lost. Jordan Addison touchdown.
That was my last one. Baker Mayfield versus Jordan Addison. Now, with Jordan Addison, kind of going into like the games that are coming up this week, we play the Vikings this week, and James Bradbury is not playing. So Slay is going to be all over Justin Jefferson. But I'm a little concerned about Jordan Addison. I'm a little concerned about Jordan Addison in this game. And,
I watched that game, and I clearly stood corrected when I said CJ, whatever his name is. Who's the other wide receiver that's there?
KJ Osborne.
KJ Osborne. I was going to CJ. KJ Osborne is not him. Like,
he's just a guy.
I saw him miss passes that were easy to catch. I saw him not get the route that was thrown to him.
Just a guy. TJ Hawkinson is the other guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's the big dog.
Jordan Addison is a clear 2 there.
For sure. And then the running game, I mean, Mattinson, 11 carries, 34 yards. They're probably missing Dalvin Cook right about now. Like, stupid, but whatever. But
no, he got a touchdown. He got a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, I know, but I would still say they're probably missing Dalvin Cook. Me personally, 3 catches, 10 yards. 11 carries, 34. We'll see. And then Baker on the other side. Baker did his thing. So shout out to him. Mike Evans trying to get paid, so he did his thing. But out of those 2 teams, who do you think has a better chance to like really do something this year?
Vikings.
You don't believe in the Bucs at all? We talk about defense. Their defense is still solid, man. It's still solid.
Yeah, I do. I just think Baker's going to Baker at some point in the season. So, Bucs fans ride that wave really, really high the first game. We're going back. We're running it back. We're doing this, and it'll all come crumbling down, boys. Just come listen to Fair Weather Podcast. We bring you down to earth. Don't worry.
I'm gonna bring Bless back in like a couple of weeks and get his temperature.
He was at the game.
Yeah, I saw that, bro. I was like, I thought so for whatever reason, I thought the game was in Tampa. When you showed me the picture, I was like, wait, he was in Minnesota.
This kid had the greatest weekend ever. He went to University of Minnesota game night before, went to the Bucks game, and then watched the Rays and the Twins play the next day.
Oh, that's dope. That's a solid weekend.
Yeah, he had a good weekend. So yeah.
All right, now before we move off of the NFL for a second, just real quick, because when I did my master's, when I did my MBA, I wrote a paper about the effects of turf on lower extremity injuries in the NFL, and how much it does an uptick of injuries from turf fields. Obviously, we saw a few people go down this week, including the main attraction, Aaron Rodgers.
It kicked me in the nuts. Yeah.
So, and I was listening to Roger Goodell on. He was talking to Stephen A. Smith. I think it was this morning. And he was. He asked him like, all right, what do you think about this? And he's talking about like science and because the World Cup is the World Cup's coming to the U.S. next, right? So like they were talking about like they're using like half grass, half artificial, kind of like mixed together. But in the NFLPA in April pointed to studies from 2012 to 2022, so a 10-year window, to show a significant increase in non-contact injuries on artificial surfaces versus grass fields. And when the big dog, Aaron Rodgers, is the one that goes down, clearly this is going to be brought up in the offseason. Like when Tom Brady tore his ACL, you could not hit the quarterback low anymore. Like when Aaron Rodgers' clavicle broke, you can't put your weight on the quarterback anymore. Now the quarterback got hurt again. Do you think they're gonna make any adjustments to these fields? Because you got to think, all these new stadiums all have turf. The New York, Minnesota, LA, Raiders. So like we're getting more and more away from the grass, and some players like the turf fields because it makes them a lot more faster. Which is true. And Tyreek Hill is dominant on turf, right? But then some people like offensive linemen, defensive linemen, certain positions, the grass is a little bit better because there's more give. So do you think they're going to do anything about it?
I'll say this: Aaron Rodgers isn't Tom Brady, so I don't think so. I think this is one of those things that it'll get opened up and for discussion again. I know Bakhtiari was really vocal about it over the weekend, really emotional watching Aaron Rodgers go down and making an argument. And then he jumped on somebody else's podcast the next day and started talking about it more and going in depth on it. It's something that I really haven't paid close attention to. I've heard the complaints and I hear both ends of it. I know turf makes you more agile, more faster. And I know regular grass allows you to plant better.
Yeah.
So I see it from both perspectives.
And there's a temperature aspect to it as well. Because there's the field and the turf in September is very different in December when it's cold and it's snowy and icy and that kind of stuff. So I wonder how that plays, and has an impact on that as well. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's funny to go back and watch film back in like the freaking 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s of watching the grass field and there's patches in there and shit and these guys are dirty and shit. Now the uniforms are clean. The only thing you see on there is maybe a little bit of green stain on there and some blood. But other than that,
you see a little back then. You saw blood, you saw cigarette burns, you saw dirt.
Yeah, you saw it all, man. So these guys got clean jerseys. I get it from both ends. I just think you can't. Yeah, pause. I just think you can't please everybody.
And you can't. It's impossible.
It's impossible. So I if anything, I hope the NFL looks into it and they take it serious looking into it if this is a mandated thing. But I've seen some, this is crazy. This is like not off topic, but kind of crazy. I've seen like a lot of new stadium, what do you call it? Designs where they can remove the field and store it underneath and have it like the grass grow and shit while it's being stored.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that could be a pitch for some of these teams building new stadiums. Hey, everyone's going to need to get a new stadium at some point in their careers or in their tenure as an NFL team. So when you do, let's impose this on it, whatever tax break you can do for it or whatever. I don't know, but maybe that's a way we get to it. But now you're going to have receivers being, I'm not as fast anymore. I used to be elite. Now I'm slowed down and hampered. It's going to be an ongoing thing. So
yeah.
Has to be a common ground. The NFLPA has to get involved. It's going to get drug out for a bunch of years. If Tom Brady was there and this happened to Tom Brady, I guarantee it'd be.
But tomorrow.
Yeah,
tomorrow they're ripping up all the fields.
We're sorry, Tom. We didn't know.
We apologize with all due respect, sir. We apologize.
Exactly. So
all right. So going over to something else that's disappointing in a different sport is Team USA basketball. I gotta get to this one real quick because we failed. Not only did we not win the gold, we failed to medal altogether. Right? We let Dennis Schroeder and and Isaac Blanca beat us, and then we let old bum ass Memphis, what's his name?
Dillon Brooks.
Dillon Brooks. We let him score 39 on us and beat us in overtime. So that's obviously embarrassing from a U.S. standpoint. Obviously, we knew going in we didn't send our best players. Obviously going in, we know we were going to get dominated inside pause.
Big pause.
Big pause. But long story short, we sucked, right? LeBron James, he came out like Iron Man, like, look, Avengers need to assemble. The Avengers need to assemble, and because the Olympics is next year, and the Olympics just so happens to mean a little bit more to this country than FIBA and FIFA, honestly. So, do you think we're going to be able? First of all, what was wrong with this team in your opinion? And second of all, who the hell do you want to put on that team next year? Because I'm excited to put together a lineup right now.
I don't think we sent our best, to be honest with you. If Walker Kessler's on the team, is that our best? Like, he had a good year, but like, is he our best? Oh, he's not our best. Be honest with yourself. He's not our best. So I think for us to be competitive, I think we have to send our best. Devin, it makes me laugh when Devin Booker's like, I'll come and play. Like, you should have been there. Why didn't you speak up in the beginning? Yeah. Okay, so fuck off, bro. You're too busy trying to, Kobe this and Kobe that, rest in peace, but like Kobe and this, and then trying to be with the Kardashians and do all this shit and make everybody feel bad for you and make us remember you had a 61-point game. I don't give a fuck, bro. You can't get out the playoffs. You bamboozle me every year.
That's the same dude that was in practice, like those pickup games over the summer a couple years ago. He was getting double teamed and he was getting pissed off. Like, why are we doing this, bro? Why are we getting double teamed? I'm like, bro, why are you crying, bro?
FIBA basketball is different than NBA basketball too, in a lot of different aspects. And I think the seasoned NBA players. And when I mean seasoned, I mean the ones that have been in the league at least 8 years, in my opinion. They kind of pick up on that. They've probably the better ones have played for Team USA, and they see that. But the younger ones, they go out there thinking it's regular NBA basketball. And I mean, Mikal Bridges, that shot at the end that he made in the corner, I was like, holy God.
That was beautiful.
Back in it, yeah, but they couldn't close. Yeah, Anthony Edwards is good. I think he deserves a spot on the team, but not as a starter. I think as a reserve. And I think you got to put your best out there. That's it. I just don't think I think we sent budding young stars to FIBA, but we don't send the best of the best, sir, to do it.
And really cool with Anthony Edwards, honestly, so every time there's like an Olympics or like a world, like a FIBA World Cup, there's always a couple players that kind of just take that next step when they come back to the league. I mean, we literally saw the Redeem team in 2008. Kobe came back, won 2 rings. LeBron came back, his game changed a little bit. Derrick Rose came back, he won MVP. Like,
But
all these dudes come back from
players.
international play and
these are take off. Players. These are elite players playing with older players. Like Kobe was on that team, and he got LeBron at the right time, and he got Carmelo, and he got Derrick Rose, and he got CP3. He got all these guys. So it's like you're about to become a tenured vet, and you're a really good player. Like you're making that jump from like 5 years in the league to, you know, a couple more years in seasoned. So I think sending guys that are like 3 and 4 years in, that's kind of I don't know.
Especially when these world teams, they be playing together all the time. So like we just be throwing shit on the floor hoping it sticks in June. We put them on the floor in June and hope by July, August they're ready to play. Meanwhile, these dudes in Germany have been playing together for 10 years, Spain 10 years. Like, I don't know.
And they're older too.
But I think Anthony Edwards will definitely deserve a spot on the team. I really like he's taking on that next So, I mean, looking at the roster, right? Point guards, Brunson and Halliburton. I mean, it's not like they picked horrible point guards. I mean, they're solid point guards. Yeah. The wings, B.I., Mikal Bridges, Anthony Edwards, Cam Johnson, Austin Reeves, Josh Hart. Obviously, that's not your best, but it's not like they were terrible. Like, to me, this team should have been good enough.
No leader. There's no
leader.
Team,
I know, but this team should have been good enough. I'm sorry. Like, the bigs, I'll give them that. Like, we have Banchero playing center and Jaren Jackson's fake blocks and Bobby Portis and Walker Kessler. But I think this team should have been good enough. Like, remember that, what's his name? That track dude, Noah Lyles, made fun of us for calling the NBA players world champs.
Of what?
Of what? The United States? Oh, anyway, God, he pissed me off when he said
that's like the most un-American. That's like the most, you want to be patriotic. If you want to take a patriotic, that's the most un-American thing to do.
Yeah.
A fucking, that's bad for us. It doesn't look good for us type of thing. Not making fun of them.
Yeah. And then he said, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the United States at times. I was like, bro, what are you trying to prove? Like, are you?
It was a guy in the back with a lynch with a rope.
Yeah, I was like, bro, just stop. I'm like, bro, just stop while you're ahead, bro. Just stop talking. But I still think, as average as his team is, ain't no reason we should be losing to freaking Germany, and then letting the dude that we've been clowning all year drop 39 on us in the bronze medal game. I'm sorry, I was very disappointed about that. So yeah, we can scrap this whole team and throw it away, and I'll be fine with that. So let's move forward. We know LeBron wants to be on there. I heard Curry might want to do it. Kyrie. Let's see who's committed, okay? And let's put together the right kind of roster real quick before we wrap this bad boy up. So, who on the top of your mind do you want to make sure we definitely get there next year?
LeBron, Steph, KD.
Okay. LeBron, Steph, KD,
AD. And
man,
AD.
He I don't think the Lakers will let him play. They're like, look, bro,
either, but he needs to be there. We need a big.
Yeah, we do.
Big.
So Steph for sure, but what KD should be there though.
KD should be there.
If we're gonna put LeBron and Steph, we definitely have to have KD there too.
KD and AD need to be there.
Draymond Green,
yes,
he fits that international game well.
Yes.
Damian Lillard, he fits that game pretty well.
Get Young too. Devin Booker, yes.
Devin Booker for sure, yeah.
Devin Booker needs to be there.
So from a big man standpoint, we know we want AD, and then B just got his U.S. citizenship, so I don't know if he wants to play or not.
He won't.
What should we do from like a big man standpoint? Bam. I know Bam's been brought up a lot, but he's 6'9", bro. He's LeBron's height.
But he fits an international style play too.
Bro, who's getting dominated down there, bro?
No, but I think Bam would be a good fit for that. I can't think of all these teams off the top of my head.
And that's the problem. We don't have really good, like Jared Allen is probably the best American center. I mean, think about it. What American center can you think of that's not Jokic or Embiid or all these other bigs like Nurkic? We don't really got that many good bigs in the league. See, we're down to like Jared Allen, and I cannot think of anybody else. Walker Kessler.
No, not Walker Kessler. That's for sure.
I think that's
Tatum's got to be on there. Jaylen Brown's
for sure.
got to be on there.
So we're gonna have too many wings and not enough size in the interior. That's what I'm concerned about.
I'm trying to think. I mean, if Zion wasn't like bamboozling us, Zion maybe.
Zion 6'6".
Does Sabonis have citizenship here? I think he was born.
No, he plays for Lithuania. I think. Where are they from?
I think he was born here. Evan Mobley.
Okay, I can see that.
Like Evan Mobley.
Yeah, he's Lithuanian. I think he would be playing for Lithuania. Yeah, he plays for Lithuania. Yeah.
Julius Randle?
Nah.
Dog Julius Randle.
Nah.
I think the problem was this year there was no vocal person in that
leadership. Yeah.
There was no leadership, and that's what it all comes down to. Is having a voice in the locker room. So that's just unfortunate for the US. I mean, we could sit here and, here's your favorite word, pontificate on who could be on the roster. But I think when it comes down to size, kind of like the dream team did with Christian Laettner, just bring a guy from the draft and throw him in there.
He barely even played. He was just a player.
I know, but still.
Bro, looking at that dream team picture, he's the most out of place person I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, what are you doing in this picture? These are all Hall of Famers, and then this kid from Duke.
He was the most. He's definitely one of the most dominant college basketball players of all time, and I
don't care. Give me Grant Hill. Shit.
I agree, but at the same time, he was more dominant than Grant Hill was there. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. It's like
Shaq didn't make that team, but
yeah, that's what it was. How does Shaq not make that team? I'm sorry, but anyway,
there was too many. We had too many big men though at that time. So
flying shit, bro.
I agree. I trust me. I agree, but I think size will be okay. I think when you have better defenders out there than what we have, I think we just have prolific scorers is what we had out there. Was just prolific scorers, and we were betting that we're going to score more than these guys. When what I preach all the time about the world that wants to go to the NBA, they're poor. They're poor. Like Sammy says about all these other countries in soccer, they're plumbers out there. They're literally plumbers taking the day off to come play FIBA.
Exactly.
And they're doing it for the right reasons, for their country, for pride, and to show that they can beat America at the game that they invented and do it better than them. And they did that. They fucking did it. So
I saw this news.
Daniel Tice.
Bro, he's German.
I know, and he won. Dick's boy.
Bro, but honestly, yeah, I'm looking at this. There's somebody trying to put together a roster. Steph, LeBron, KD, Tatum, Embiid. But Embiid could play for France as well. So if he wants to be petty, he might just go play for France. Dame, Devin, Bam, Jimmy, Anthony Davis. I mean, yeah, this team should dominate. We should dominate next year. I don't know why they put Kawhi on here, because Kawhi is definitely not playing for
Kawhi, man.
Kawhi's not playing. I'm sorry, bro. He's not playing for Team USA.
Kawhi will say, I have to stay in LA, but I'll fly to the games or some shit like that, man.
All right. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Now, we forgot to do pick'ems last week. So we kicking it back off. I've won a few years in a row now. It's starting to get too easy for me. Hey, Rob, I'm gonna need you to try.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna need you to try. All right. Let's knock out a couple of these games real quick. 5 games. Are you writing them down?
I'm writing them down, yes.
All right, first game. The Baltimore Ravens coming off of their dub and the Bengals coming off of their L. The game's in Cincinnati. Do you think Joe Burrow is going to be like, nah, bro, we ain't doing this shit again? Who you got?
Give me Baltimore.
Give me the Bengals. Let's start with, we're going to kick it off now. Sorry. You got Baltimore. AR. And I got the Bengals. All right. Next. Seattle Seahawks coming off of a disappointing loss, going to Detroit, coming off of an impressive victory. Who you got?
Give me Detroit.
Damn. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Okay.
I'm going with the Seahawks. I just can't see it. I'm sorry. I gotta I can't see him going 0-2. That would be so disappointing after everything we saw last year. They tried to write me off, and I didn't write back, and now it's back to bullshit again. I'm sorry. So I got to see this. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Good year. It was a good year. Fine year for wine that year.
All right. Chiefs coming off of their L at Jacksonville, who Jacksonville's looking much better. And I don't know what the status is of Kelsey. I do know Chris Jones is signed his 1-year deal for $25 million, whatever. So who you got?
KC.
We can agree there. As much as, and the Jags, I want to pick the Jags. The game's in Jacksonville, but Patrick Mahomes, I just can't. I can't pick against him right now. All right, this is a good one. Dolphins at Patriots. The Patriots defense, we were watching that game together. They shut our shit down, bro. Like it was rainy, it was sloppy. Tom Brady put his juju on the game, whatever. But the Patriots defense looked fantastic, and obviously we know the Dolphins offense looked amazing. So, what we got there?
Give me Miami.
Damn, Townie. Or are they Townie anymore? I'm going with the Dolphins as well. I'm going with the Dolphins as well. All right, finally, the class of the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns are at the team that looked like a JV football team last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who you got?
At Pittsburgh, they lost in Pittsburgh. This is tough. Give me Cleveland because I just don't see it with Pittsburgh offense like I did in the preseason.
This is going to be a crazy. We about to make some movement this week. So I'm going with the Steelers. They're at home. That terrible towel is going to be waving, and I cannot see what happened last week going on again because I have high hopes for the Steelers this year. So I'm rocking with the Steelers. I'm rocking with the Steelers.
I got Nick Chubb. Well, I got Najee Harris too. So we'll see.
Hey, Kenny Pickett, go do your thing, boy. All right, so there's three. We're about to be on a roll. 3 games already that could go either way. So let's kick this bitch off this year. A-Rod. Things are brewing, y'all. Things are brewing, and A-Rod got something to say. Go ahead, A-Rod. What's cooking like with Jim Rome? What's cooking?
With Jim Rome with A-Rod. So the Fairweather podcast has some exciting news to say. We've heard a lot of people talk, and we had a meeting of the minds with one of our regulars on here, Townie Sports, Sammy and Vic. They're going to be joining us. We're going to be absorbing their podcast into ours. And I know y'all are panicking already, saying, oh, these motherfuckers talk way too much. They're going to have 4 people on here. They talk a lot, blase, whatever.
Blase.
We are going to be doing things a little bit different on here. And we're excited to have them on. We have some really creative ideas. We're going to see a lot more of us on social media. We're going to be getting busy with a lot of projects that we're working on as well. And might as well have 4 minds doing it all at the same time. Pause. So there'll be a lot more pauses, that's for sure.
A lot more pauses, especially dealing with Sammy.
Yeah, but we're excited to have them. A lot of their listeners, whenever we jump on their podcast, said that we have good rapport, and it was an idea that was pitched to us actually, or pitched to me first by Sammy, and then I brought it to KK's mind, and
it's an idea that I've been thinking about for 2 years now, actually. Believe it or not. I'm like, man, I love doing shows with these boys. I think the 4 of us are like the 4 horsemen, WCW, like what was it, Eddie Guerrero and I don't know, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko. Yeah, I love it though.
Yeah, but it's gonna be good. We've all got creative minds, and I it's gonna work perfectly. You're just gonna get a lot more Patriots talk and Boston sports talk a little bit.
Nah, we gonna nip that shit in the bud. I'm sorry, man. We gonna keep it. We gonna keep it the way we keep it. But we're definitely gonna be doing some different things. Though it's gonna be a lot more. It's gonna be exciting, y'all. It's gonna be super exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited too. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of like around the horn almost type of deal. So it'll be a lot.
I need to find some my clicker, my point clicker. And then also my dumb ass drank coffee tonight, so I'm probably gonna be up till 3 a.m. Trying to come up with even more ideas because my mind doesn't know how to shut up. But I'm excited. A-Rod's excited. The other boys are excited as well. Yeah, so just be on the lookout.
Next week, we should have a podcast with the 4 of us on there.
Coming to a theater near you.
Yeah, logos are going to change. A lot of things are going to change, so we can have them on there too. But for the most part, we're still the Fair Weather Podcast. There ain't nothing changing there, man. We work hard.
And listen, Bleacher Report, Volume Sports, Barstool Sports. Man, I'm letting y'all know right now, we ain't gonna be cheap. We ain't gonna be cheap, y'all. So y'all start negotiating now. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, man. Wrap us up.
So one thing I do want to say, I got my popple in the corner that way.
There you go.
Connect with me work-wise. It's also my birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, bro. Because when y'all listening to this, he'll be celebrating what, 36?
Yeah, the big 36. God 36. Damn.
What basketball player wore 36? Wait, Brian Westbrook wore 36. My boy, Brian Westbrook. So you celebrated your Westbrook year, but not Russell.
Not Russ. Not Russ.
Not Russ.
My Cash App is in there if you want to throw me some money. I know you won't, though, because y'all not like that. But just wish me a happy birthday. That's all I need. I'm another year around the sun. So
feliz en tu día, bro.
You can find us on X at fair_weatherpod.
Stop saying that, bro.
I know. Gotta stop saying Twitter. It's X. Elon Musk time. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Search the Fair Weather Podcast, and where you subscribe, listen to podcasts, you can catch the audio there. We will possibly be going live soon with Sammy and Vic. So look out for that too. You guys can interact with us and talk.
We'll test it out. We'll see. We want to do what the fans want us to do. So provide suggestions. Be in the inbox, flood the inbox. Remember, it's easy to just comment on shit all the time, but it's also just as easy to just like shit, subscribe to shit, and share shit. So I know y'all like to give y'all opinions. Cool, but damn, support your boys, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Just support your boys. So. And then also, what did you said something right before. I wanted to kind of piggyback off of that. Damn it.
I don't know.
What did you just say like 30 seconds ago?
Going live?
Something. All right, whatever. I forgot what I was going to say. Because you made it was a good point that you made, and then I completely forgot. But long story short, X, formerly known as Twitter, you can find us there, like you said. My words of wisdom today. Be like my shirt says, be a nice human. Just be a nice human. That's all. So happy birthday, bro. Good luck to your season this year, Jets. And in case you didn't know, the miracle at the Meadowlands has happened again. So shout out to the miracles in the Meadowlands. Peace.